The production line shuts down. An alarm sounds. In a fraction of a second, an ordinary shift on the floor becomes a severe medical emergency. This timeline illustrates the math of survival. A victim with a severed artery can bleed out in 3 to 5 minutes. In most urban centers, average emergency medical services take 7 to 10 minutes to arrive. Survival depends entirely on that gap. When a colleague goes down, human instinct demands immediate action. You want to rush in and help immediately. That instinct can be fatal. Under the Workplace Safety and Health Act, your first duty is to secure the scene. Rushing toward a victim without assessing the environment often creates a second casualty. You need to scan for secondary hazards before stepping forward, identifying mechanical crush risks, active electrical faults, or biological exposure risks. This matrix charts the danger. By mapping hazard likelihood on the horizontal axis against potential severity on the vertical axis, you calculate your risk. High likelihood combined with high severity means the area is actively lethal. You cannot save a life if you become a victim yourself. Mastering the environment and neutralizing hazards is the mandatory prerequisite to providing aid. To systematically neutralize those hazards, safety professionals rely on the ISO 45001 hierarchy of controls. This framework dictates exactly how to secure an accident scene. This pyramid ranks safety interventions by effectiveness. At the very top are elimination and engineering controls. This means taking physical action to remove the danger, hitting the emergency stop button to kill power, or erecting physical barricades around the spill zone. Once the immediate area is physically secured, we move down to administrative controls. You need to manage the people. Point to a specific bystander and delegate them to call 995, and send another to guide the paramedics from the entrance to the exact location. At the base of the pyramid is personal protective equipment. Before touching the patient, you must don nitrile gloves and, if available, eye shields. This protects you from the transmission of blood-borne pathogens. Strictly following these specific steps ensures the area is safe enough for you to intervene without becoming the second casualty. With the scene secure, your attention moves to the patient. Your immediate priority is identifying life-threatening arterial bleeding on the limbs, blood that is spurting or pooling rapidly. To stop this level of hemorrhage, standard first aid kits are equipped with a commercial combat application tourniquet, or CAT, and compressed gauze. Wrapping a loose cloth or t-shirt around an arterial wound will not generate enough pressure to stop the flow. You need a dedicated mechanical device. Slide the tourniquet onto the limb, positioning it 2 to 3 inches above the bleeding site. Ensure it is placed directly over the muscle, avoiding joints like the knee or elbow. Pull the strap as tight as possible, then begin turning the windlass rod. This mechanical action tightens the internal band, creating the deep occlusive pressure required to compress the severed artery and halt blood flow. Turn it until the bleeding stops, then secure the rod into the locking clip. This process causes severe pain for the casualty. You must ignore their discomfort and maintain the pressure. Releasing it will allow the bleeding to resume. Finally, use a marker to write the time of application directly on the tourniquet strap. Arriving paramedics need this exact data to determine the next phase of surgical care. Securing the tourniquet halts the volume loss. You have effectively bought the patient the minutes they need to survive until professional transport takes over. If the casualty is not bleeding but is unresponsive and not breathing normally, they are likely experiencing sudden cardiac arrest. You have a strict 60-second window to retrieve and power on an automated external defibrillator, AED. Send someone to get it immediately while you begin chest compressions. This diagram shows the required placement. Once the AED arrives, expose the patient's bare chest and apply the adhesive pads exactly as pictured, one on the upper right side of the chest and the other on the lower left ribs. This positions the heart directly in the path of the electrical current. The device will analyze the rhythm. If it advises a shock, ensure your hands and everyone else's are completely clear of the patient. Deliver the shock, then immediately resume chest compressions at a steady rate of 100 to 120 beats per minute. The combination of rapid chest compressions and strict adherence to the AEB's voice props provides the only proven method to restore a viable heart rhythm. Executing these steps effectively on the factory floor relies on a much larger system. Emergency response requires total organizational accountability at every level. Workers are responsible for maintaining valid first aid certifications and familiarizing themselves with their specific environment. Supervisors hold the responsibility of managing the physical scene during an event, directing traffic, and isolating hazards. This infographic outlines the complete structure. The third pillar is management. It is their legal and ethical duty to provide WSH-compliant trauma kits, maintain clear emergency pathways, and fund continuous training programs. A successful rescue does not happen by accident. It is the result of corporate preparation and rigorous compliance established long before the incident occurs. When the paramedics load the patient into the ambulance, the medical response ends, but the procedural response continues. All details of the incident, as well as any near misses where no one was injured, must be formally reported to your site's workplace safety and health officer. This documentation serves a critical purpose. It directly updates the site's risk assessments, targets future safety inspections, and modifies procedures to prevent the hazard from reoccurring. These procedures boil down to 5 golden rules: assess the scene before acting, protect yourself with PPE, stop severe bleeding mechanically, deploy an AED within 60 seconds, and report every incident. In a crisis, panic is the enemy. Deliberate competence, rigorous preparation, and practiced hands-on training take its place. Workplace safety relies on deliberate, methodical actions. Following these protocols ensures that at the end of the shift, everyone goes home alive.